let us get started with our extra slow, relaxing class today. So if you're not at your yoga mat already, go ahead and find your way to your mat. We're going to start laying down. And if you have an extra pillow or blanket or bolster, any kind of props, you might put something under your head. You might put something underneath your knees for a little more support and ease for the low back. So just go ahead and situate yourself in a lying down position. Maybe your arms and legs are outstretched today. Maybe you find constructive rest pose where you stand your feet up at the edges of the mat and then allow your knees to rest together at the center. This can be extra gentle for the low back if you're feeling any tightness there with the legs straight. So go ahead and keep arranging and rearranging until it feels just about as comfortable as you can make it today. And if it feels right, maybe letting out a couple of sighs, a couple of clearing breaths. Inhaling through your nose, sighing through your mouth. Go ahead and take a few more breaths just like that if you'd like. If you like to keep your eyes open, maybe choosing an area to focus on. But if you'd like to close your eyes, maybe gently closing them now. Take a little scan through the body, noticing any interesting or just interesting sensations today. Trying to let go of our tendency to judge how we're feeling and just simply notice. And we will practice one of my favorite grounding kind of rituals. It's really helpful if you've ever had anxiety or kind of a panic attack. In my experience, it's very helpful to tune into the senses. So even if your eyes are closed, just kind of noticing what you can see. And again, if the eyes are closed, maybe it's more like shapes or shadows. Some people see kind of like a static, maybe just darkness. Not needing there to be something to look at, just noticing. And taking a few breaths through the nose, smelling, seeing if there are any lingering aromas you can detect. And rolling your tongue around your mouth. See if there are any flavors or tastes you can detect. Or maybe just giving your gums a little massage by rolling your tongue around your teeth. And begin to listen using your sense of hearing. What kind of sounds do you hear far away? In the room that you're in? Any sounds closer to you, maybe the sound of your breath or any electronics in your space. And then feeling the back side of your body. Notice the pressure points, the points where your body's making contact with whatever it is that's supporting you beneath you. Which points feel like a lot of pressure? Which points feel like a little bit lighter of pressure? Being reminded here that you are fully supported by the floor. So notice and then release any areas of over efforting, tension, gripping, or holding. If it's as simple as that. Sometimes it's not. But just see, investigate. Are these areas of tension something I can release even just 10% now? And from this still place, become aware of your heart center, the center of your chest, the sternum area, deeper than the sternum. See if you can feel or imagine that your breath is coming from this area, emanating out through your limbs, out into the space just around your body. As you're breathing, almost like your energy field is expanding a little bit. And as you're exhaling, that energy field kind of hugging you a little closer, emanating from the heart center. And from here, if you would like to set a dedication or intention for this practice, go ahead and bring something or someone to mind now. And an intention can be as simple as a word or phrase. Maybe someone in your life who needs a little extra love sent their way. And just like everything in our class tonight, that's optional. So if nothing's coming to you, it's plenty. It's enough that you're just here. Tuning in, practicing a slowness that is oftentimes kind of lost these days. And once you have that intention, even though we're not together, let's collectively take a couple of clearing breaths with the intention to amplify each other's intentions. So when you're ready, take a big breath in through your nose and sigh to release and amplify. Two more like that, in through the nose. Sigh it out. Three total. And when you're ready, starting to wiggle fingers and toes. And then rotating through your ankles and wrists. Maybe turning your head from side to side. Let's head toward a long body stretch. So reaching your arms and legs long in opposite directions, reaching and stretching. Maybe spreading the fingertips out really wide, stretching the palms of the hands, the soles of the feet. And then we will remove anything from underneath the knees if you had anything there. We'll continue to lie down, and if you have anything underneath your head, we're just going to remove those props, bring them out to the side for now. We'll start to stand the feet up on the mat, so bending your knees, feet stand up at a comfortable distance here. Arms will come down by the sides at first. With an inhale, just start to lift your arms straight up. Maybe they continue to reach up and overhead. If your hands reach the floor behind you, that's cool. But if they don't, that's fine too. Let's pause here with your hands up at what feels like a good amount for you. Notice the arch of your spine and notice your rib cage here. If the lifting of the arms caused too much of a lifting of the spine and an opening of the ribs, let's bring it back together by engaging the core, kind of pressing your low back down into the mat. And that might mean the hands have to come up a little bit off the floor. Okay, so just work with yourself there. Keep that hugging sensation through the core. With your next exhale, let's lower the arms down by the sides. Just notice how that pressure moves through the back as you move. We'll keep on going with your inhale. Lift the arms up and overhead, any amount. You don't even have to go as far as you can. And then exhale to lower the arms down by your sides. Let's just keep doing that, flowing with your breath, inhaling to lift them up, any amount, and then exhaling to lower back down. See if you can do this with just the right amount of effort. Not over-efforting, not gripping or squeezing too hard anywhere, just enough to allow for this movement. Just go a couple more times here, getting the shoulders nice and loose. Next time your hands are down by your sides, we'll just pause there. You can either keep your hands down here or maybe bring them out to the sides for a little more support. Let's pick up or press your left foot down a lot and then start to lift and straighten or almost straighten that right leg up. Rotate out your right ankle a couple of times, both ways. The more you press down through that left foot, the easier it is to keep that right leg up. You can always have a bend in your right knee too if it's just a bit too much to keep it lifted. Then we'll flex the right foot. So pull those toes back toward you. Lead with the heel here. Take an inhale as you lower and straighten that right leg all the way down toward the floor. With your exhale, we'll point the toes and lift back up. We'll do that again. Inhale, flex and lower. Exhale, point and lift. Two more like that. Inhale, flex and lower. Exhale, point and lift. One more time. Inhale, lower. Exhale, point and lift. Okay, let's bend that right knee into figure 4. So that right ankle just goes behind the left knee, figure 4 legs. For a lot of people, this is already a great amount of stretch and sensation. If you are looking for more sensation, you might try pressing your right hand into your right knee, opening up that right hip joint a little more. Maybe finding a little bit of swaying side to side. If that's still not quite it today, maybe reach to interlace your fingers behind your left thigh or on top of your left shin. Just make sure that your head and your shoulders can still be relaxed and down on the floor. So if that causes you to reach too far and the head's lifting up, let's just take it back down a notch, finding that nice kind of medium sensation today. And again, you might rock the knees a little side to side. If that left foot is lifted, maybe you bend and straighten into that left knee a couple times. Just really tune into the sensations you're feeling. See if you can kind of pinpoint a couple of locations you're feeling sensations. Find your breath. See if it can flow a little smoother with just a little more intention. A lot of the poses we do today can definitely be done with the eyes closed, so sometimes that helps us tune it inward a little bit more, see how it feels on the outs or on the inside. Let's have about 2 more breaths. Just about 1 more breath in. 1 more breath out. If that left foot was lifted, go ahead and bring it back down. We're going to stay with our figure 4 legs. Hands will come out wide. Let's just start to rock the knees way over to the right and then way over to the left. So we're just feeling a little bit of a twist happening here. You choose your timing now, just spending a little bit of time twisting to the right. A little time, figure 4 legs twisting to the left. A couple times both ways, and remembering we really do not want to force our way into twists. So just kind of find a happy medium here too. If you want to get fancy with it, you might turn your head in the opposite direction that your knees are twisting. If you want to pause and linger on either side, go ahead. It will be twisting for just about one last breath. And then come back up to your neutral figure 4. Press that left foot down a lot again. Straighten and lift that right leg one more time. Give it a little shake or a kick or a wiggle. And then bend your right knee and set your right foot down. Before we switch sides, just take a moment to notice how your pelvis is feeling. Notice how the hips are feeling. It feels very different side to side for me. And I wonder if you can kind of feel that too. And then we'll switch sides. So press that right foot down a lot as you begin to lift and straighten or almost straighten that left leg. You can always hold on behind your left leg here if that helps. And then give that left ankle a little bit of love, some rotation in both directions. Whew, a lot of cracking going on over here today. My toes and this ankle, wow. All right, and then when you're ready, let's let go of that left leg if you were holding it. Flex your left foot, pulling those toes back toward your body. Take a breath in as you lower your left leg down, keeping a nice straight leg. Maybe that heel touches the floor. And then exhale, point your toes, lift that leg back up. Keep pressing your right foot into the floor. Inhale, flex and lower. Exhale, point and lift. Inhale, flex and lower. Exhale, point and lift. All right, now we'll bend that left knee, cross your left ankle behind your right knee, figure 4. This side could feel a little different, so no need to go right to that same variation unless it feels right. You might stay right here. You might use that left hand to press your left knee away from you a little bit. Or again, reaching to interlace the fingers behind your right thigh or on top of your right shin. But just try to choose the kind variation. So even if you know you can reach for what some would consider the deepest position, there's just no need to do that unless you want. But just invite you to examine your reasonings for the choices you make when it comes to physical activity. I think we're so conditioned to go as hard and as many and as heavy of weights to lift and stuff like that, but we don't have to have that mentality while we're doing yoga here. I'm kind of a fan of just doing a little bit less. And I know that's a little bit of a double-edged sword, but sometimes it's just what the nervous system needs. So you be discerning. You decide if that is speaking to you today or not. And, finding a couple little movements if you like, maybe bending and straightening that right knee if it's lifted. Maybe a little side to side or circling. One more breath in. One more breath out. All right, if that right foot was lifted, go ahead and lower that right leg. We're in our figure 4 here. Keeping the figure 4 legs, just go ahead and start twisting the knees over toward the left. and then over toward the right. Rocking back and forth at your own pace now, just exploring what it feels like to go from side to side. A little bit of twist happening. And if you want to get fancy with it on this side, just go ahead and look, turn your head, turn your gaze in the opposite direction that your knees are going. Linger anywhere you'd like, if that feels right. And then coming back up to our neutral, figure 4. Press that right foot down a lot as you begin to lift and straighten that left leg one more time. Give it a kick or a shake or a wiggle. And then set that foot down. All right, we're gonna head up to all fours next. So if you want to hug your knees in toward your chest and rock and roll a couple times up and down the spine, that might get you up to seated, or you can roll onto either side and then come up right away to all fours. So if you're on a hard surface, it can feel really nice to get an extra cushion underneath your knees. Either way, hands will be right below the shoulders, knees more or less under the hips. With your inhale, start to lower your belly, lift your tailbone and your gaze, finding your cow pose. And then exhale to cat. Inhale to cow, gaze lifts. Exhale to cat, rounding up through the spine. You got it now, using your inhale to cow. Following your exhale to cat. Keep going. Inhaling, cow. Exhaling, cat. You can either continue with cat and cow or start to take kind of some circular, almost like hula hooping like movements with your spine. So just kind of rotating up, around, down, like you're hula hooping. Sometimes it feels really good. And then switching directions if you're hooping. And then once you're done, let's find our way to extended child's pose. And the knees will go out wide toward the edges of your mat, big toes touching behind you. The first time, let's just kind of start to sink the heel or the seat toward the heels, but not go all the way down. When you're ready, come back up to sort of tabletop with the knees out wide. Let's just do that a couple of times. We're just kind of rocking back and then coming up. This is nice to kind of warm up all of the different joints that will be used here in our child's pose. So go ahead and do this as many times as you'd like. If you have that pillow or bolster or prop handy, you might bring a prop underneath your chest because we'll kind of take a little bit longer in our child's pose today. So as you're ready, just kind of sinking your way on down to child's pose, hands reaching out toward the top of your mat if you'd like. You can turn your head to look in one direction if you have an extra pillow under your head. I'll tell you when we're halfway through, and then you can switch sides. And if you are uncomfortable, do what you can here to adjust so that whatever joints or areas of the body are not feeling comfort, do them a solid, get some more cushioning there. Maybe take a different variation. You can come up here and be on forearms, just kind of reaching your seat back. Sometimes it's nice, instead of having the bolster underneath your chest or your head, sometimes it's nice to put the bolster underneath your knees or your seat. That can be really helpful if this is a lot on your knees. So just keep adjusting here. We're just having the head turn to one side. And we're just about halfway through, so whenever it feels right, go ahead and switch. If you're looking in one direction, go ahead and switch so you're looking in the other direction. If you don't have a pillow under your head and your head's just down, nowhere to switch to. And contemplating your intention here, if you set one. And notice your jaw soften. Notice the muscles around your eyes and your face soften there. Just about 2 more breaths. One more breath in. And out. When you're ready, come on up to tabletop, hands and knees. We'll scoot those props off to the side, clearing your mat. This will be the most active part of our class. We're just going to find a little bit of a flow here. So coming from hands and knees, we're going to walk the hands about a step forward, and then send your hips forward, and then lower your chest all the way down. So you end up down on your chest and stomach. Tops of the feet are pressing down into the mat. We're going to find a baby cobra here. So using the strength of your spine and core, lifting your head and chest. So we're not really using the hands here. Press down through the tops of your feet a lot so your thighs start to firm up, your glutes are turned on here. Here we are in our baby cobra. With your next exhale, let's lower down, softening all the active muscles. We'll do that again 2 more times. Inhale to your baby cobra. Lifting, and exhale to lower. One more time. Inhale to baby cobra. We're going to stay lifted here. With your exhale, press your way up to tabletop and back to child's pose. All on that exhale. Okay. Now we're going to find a little flow with it. So take a few breaths. And then we'll begin to flow. So wait for your next inhale. When that inhale comes, start to rise up, tabletop. Exhale, chest to the floor. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, press your way up through tabletop and back to child's pose. It'll start to flow here once we do it a couple more times. So now on your own, I'll walk you through one more time, and then we'll just kind of freestyle. So inhale, rising up, tabletop. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, tabletop to child's pose. I'll just keep walking us through, but feel free to go at your own pace. Inhale, table. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, table to child's pose. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale to table. Exhale, lower. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, tabletop, child's pose. One last time. Inhale, rising up, tabletop. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lifting chest and head. Exhale, push your way up, tabletop to child's pose. Stay here for 2 breaths. One more big breath in and out. All right, walk your hands toward your knees. We're going to kind of stand up on the knees. So if you need extra cushion under the knees, go ahead. We're going to find a little bit of a side bend and twist here. So with your inhale, let's just reach both arms straight up, like you're holding a giant beach ball overhead. With your exhale, we're going to just side bend toward the right. So hold that giant beach ball, just kind of go to the right. Good. Inhale, come back up to the center. Exhale, side bend to the left. We'll just keep doing that a few times. Inhale, come to the center. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. All right, inhale, come back up to the center. We're going to switch things up. With our exhale, we're open arm twisting toward the right. So the left arm reaches forward, the right arm reaches back. Twist those shoulders toward the right. Keep breathing. Beautiful. All right, we're feeling a twist of the upper body toward the right. Feel that left hip point, the left hip kind of reaching toward the left so we get that counter twist in. Nice. All right, take an inhale, come back to the center. We'll switch sides. Exhale, twist to the left. Now the right hand is reaching forward and the left hand is reaching back. Upper body twisting to the left. Lower body, that right hip especially, kind of reaching in that opposite direction. With an inhale, come back up to the center, unwind. And exhale, lower the arms down. All right, that was the most active section of class. Let's get into another little restorative pose here. If you have a blanket or a pillow, would be really good to put that out on the right side of your mat. Kind of your knee will go on this side, so I'll show you what I mean. When you're ready, let's lower down to the stomach. This pose is called half frog. So we're going to bend the right knee and just set your right knee down to somewhere on the right side of your mat. So everyone's going to look a little different on this. Your leg could be more or less, straight and off to the side, or you can really bend that right knee and get it out toward the side of your body. So you find what feels okay here. And we're going to stack the hands, forearms, or fists underneath the forehead. So just go ahead and lower your head down onto something. And for anyone kind of with like a larger chest or anything, you could put some extra cushioning or blanket underneath your stomach or your upper chest, kind of creating like a little cradle for your upper body. So get comfy. Even if I don't mention a variation, but you're feeling discomfort, feel free to make up a variation that feels a little bit better for you. And when you're here, maybe taking a sigh, seeing if you can really let the body soften. So this is another hip opener for that right hip. So external rotation through the right hip joint. This is half frog. There is a pose where you're doing this with both legs. It's a bit intense, so we're going to skip that one. We'll just go for one side then the other. Nice and slow. Just about 2 more breaths. And you're welcome to either stay here if you'd like to bypass a twist. You can just come back here if you'd like. Otherwise, we're going to turn this into a nice twist for the thoracic or the mid and upper back. So when you're ready, we're kind of going to peek the head up here. Press your right hand down into the mat and then thread that left arm underneath your body. So your left hand is now reaching out toward the right side. See that? And then your right hand will stack on top of your left. So the legs will stay kind of the same. See if that works for you. Right hand stacked on top of the left hand. Reach those right fingertips farther than your left fingertips so you feel a stretch between your shoulder blades. And then we're going to lift that right hand straight up. So we're going to make a rainbow shape here as we open that right arm up. See how far it feels good to open. You don't force it here. Just kind of linger wherever that open state is. And then we'll close it back down. So bring that right hand back to the left hand. And your head's kind of just floating in the air here. And just go ahead and do that a few times. We're opening. And then we're closing. Making that kind of rainbow or half rainbow-like shape. Just working working on our mobility through the mid and upper back. Do you feel where that's twisting? See if you can kind of tune into the twist through your back. Maybe one more time. Okay. Next, just bring that hand back down to the left hand. Now we're just going to turn onto your back. So just go ahead and come onto your back. And our knees will be bent with the feet standing at the edges of the mat, knees together at the center in constructive rest. Let's interlace the fingers and then rest your head in your hands. So your arms are just up, kind of like you would be if you were watching the clouds go by. Just feeling a little bit of opening through the upper chest here. Again, practicing this slower way of being. I know sometimes it's really uncomfortable to not really like have a task to be doing right now, but just see if you can kind of daydream a little. Or maybe pretend that you are watching some clouds pass. Or depending on what your ceiling looks like, maybe you can find some interesting shapes on your ceiling. Just seeing if you can be interested in this moment, whatever little silly things are present. Feel free to linger here longer if you're having fun. Otherwise, we're going to switch sides. So we're going to just turn around to the stomach again. So just make your way onto your stomach. Take that prop, that blanket from the first side, put it over on your left side now, or the other side, so that your leg can eventually go off on that. So when you're there, we're going to bend that left leg, bend that left knee. So the inner arch is kind of facing the floor. Side to side can be different, so take your time finding your variation here. And then again, hands, fists, or forearms underneath the forehead. Some people feel better resting on the side of their head, so maybe your right ear is on top of whatever's stacked. Your hands, your forearms, or your forehead. Take adjustments, find your variations. And once you get there, just see if you can really soften. Just a gentle opening, external rotation of that left hip joint. If you need a little less sensation, just kind of straighten your leg down a little bit more. If you want more sensation, just kind of help your knee bend a little bit, lifting it a little bit higher. Notice your jaw. Soften your face. We'll have about 2 more breaths here. And again, if you didn't necessarily like those twists on the first side, you can just stay right here. But if you're heading into twists with me, we'll kind of peek the head up, thread that right arm underneath the body. So your right arm is now reaching out toward the left side. That left hand will stack on top of the right hand. And first, just reaching your left fingertips farther than your right so you feel a nice amount of opening through the shoulder blades and the middle back. Then when you're ready, we'll make that rainbow kind of twisting shape here, lifting that left arm up. And your version of all the way open. Take a couple of breaths if you want to linger here. And when it feels right, just closing the hands back up. And at your own pace now, just kind of opening and closing. And seeing if you can feel where that rotation is kind of targeting through your back, through your spine. Maybe you feel it more through that left shoulder. You find out where that's happening most for you. Just a couple more times. And then next time your hands are closed, we'll one last time turn to the belly. So just straighten both legs. Crocodile pose here. So the hands stack under the forehead or the fists stack under the forehead. This time we're letting the heels splay out to the sides. And you might kind of wobble your hips side to side if that helps you feel like your lower back is kind of softening, opening a little. And then let's do a few diaphragmatic breaths. So it can feel, so when we're breathing in down to the lowest part of the lungs, it feels like we're breathing into the belly. Though when we're on our stomach, sometimes it can feel more like a widening of the rib cage. So just experiment with a very deep, slow breath down, down, down to the lowest part of your lungs. Some people consider this a diaphragm reset. Kind of strengthening as well with the resistance of the floor. One more breath in. One more breath out. When you're ready, plant your hands on either side of your chest. Press your way back up, tabletop. If there are any other last movements, poses, or stretches that you're wanting, maybe if you want to do a downward dog or any other little poses or movements that you'd like, go ahead. Move into those now. And we will go right into our final meditation, our final rest after your final movements. So take your time. And when you are ready, you might start in a similar way, or you might end in a similar way to how you started in a Shavasana-like pose. So I invite you to consider taking more of like a deluxe Shavasana. So maybe you grab that pillow or blanket to put over top of you. Maybe you have a pillow under your head or something underneath your knees. Taking your sweet time. And then eventually settling on in. And we'll do a nice little guided meditation today. So, taking no shortcuts. See if you're feeling comfortable. Notice the temperature of your body. If you're feeling even a little cold now, usually with stillness, our body temperature can lower. So maybe grabbing that blanket or socks or sweatshirt. If you're feeling any initial excitement through the body and you'd like to kind of ground that energy, maybe taking a few more clearing breaths, which again is a nice inhale through the nose and then a sigh through your mouth. See if your arms and hands are in a comfortable place. Just kind of listen to them. Sometimes they want to move in weird ways or asymmetrical ways. So just be open to listening to whatever wisdom that they have to share. Sometimes it doesn't feel like wisdom, but it's fun to just listen to what your body's asking for. Quite rewarding. And again, once you're feeling settled, noticing if you'd like to steady your gaze at something in front of you, or maybe blinking your eyes closed here. You are welcome to move at any time, but this time is meant to be a practice of stillness. So just kind of notice your relationship to that as we go. So I will begin to name parts of your body in a very specific way today. And as I name them, your only job is to let your awareness linger in these areas, noticing if there's tension or over-efforting, and then softening if it feels right. And sometimes it's not as easy as just thinking to soften. So if you find that's the case, you might tense that area even more, grip even more, and then release. So beginning with the crown of your head, becoming aware of your scalp, the forehead, eyebrows, eyes, nose, mouth, tongue, cheeks, ears, jawbone, throat, back of your neck, right shoulder, right elbow, right wrist, palm of your hand, back of your hand, all of the fingers of your right hand. Draw your awareness up to the right armpit, right waist, right hip, right knee, right ankle, top of your foot, bottom of your foot, each and every toe of your right foot. All of the toes of your left foot, left sole of your foot, and top of your foot, left ankle, left knee, left hip, left waist, left armpit, all of the fingers of your left hand, palm of your hand, back of your hand, left wrist, left elbow, left shoulder, center of your chest, navel center, tailbone, navel center, heart center, third eye center, Notice the entire back side of your body. Become aware of the center, the core of your body, your spine. Become aware of the top side of your body. See if you can feel the temperature of the air just outside of your skin. Take 5 more breaths. Three more breaths. One more breath. Please know that if you'd like to stay here and rest, or if you've fallen asleep, you can stay right here, no problem. Just keep staying until you feel rested. If you do feel ready to move along, let's slowly deepen the breath and bring small little movements into the fingers and toes. Maybe turning your head from side to side as you circle through ankles and wrists. Maybe opening and closing your jaw, swallowing or yawning. And slowly begin to make your way onto either side, coming to the fetal position with your knees slightly tucking in. Maybe that bottom arm is used as a pillow here. Just fully rest on your side for a few slow, present breaths, honoring the transition. The fetal pose is symbolic of reawakening and rebirth. So just not skipping over this part. At the bottom of your next exhale, let's use the strength and help of the hands to come on up to a comfortable seat. If it feels okay to keep your eyes closed, we'll do that, or just soften your gaze down to the floor as you join your palms in front of the heart center. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may our thoughts, words, and actions somehow contribute to that happiness and freedom for all. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Together we can bring our thumbs now up to the third eye center, just between and above the eyebrows. In a little gesture of gratitude to ourselves, to each other, to this practice that originated thousands of years ago in India. We can take a little bow forward now. Peace.